Hey guys, why had the chicken cross the road? Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Season 2, Episode, what is this, 17A now? Mathmagic. Jumping around in this season as much as I have been has made it difficult to know exactly where I am in the order of episodes. Just like the previous episode that we covered, Running with Scissors, this is more an episode to allow us to get to know one of the members of the Magical Council than it is an episode which contributes to the overarching story of the show. In this episode, Star is faced with a difficult math problem in her math class, and because she's bored by math, she doesn't just try to work through the problem. Instead, she tries to use magic to solve it for her and ends up in a time loop. When she eventually gets fed up with trying to escape the time loop herself, she goes to Father Time for help, but this is a bit above his pay grade, so Alien X from Ben 10 shows up. Though in this series, for some reason, he's calling himself Optimus Prime, and explains that he is the embodiment of space-time, and he's the one who can help her sort out this problem. He explains that there are infinite parallel versions of Star, and out of all of those versions of Star which have been faced with this problem, our version of Star is the only one who didn't just try to do the work. This does inspire Star to change things, to go back and actually work through the problem. Though her reasoning is completely contrary to what he actually told her, she reasons that if there are infinite versions of her who know the answer to the problem, that she will too, which is just not what he said at all. But it does inspire her to actually work through the problem, and even though she gets the answer wrong, she has proven that she is willing and able to do the work. She's willing and able to try, which does a good job of running alongside the storyline that we've been getting for Star recently in recent episodes. She's been paving her own way and doing her own work when it comes to her magic training, her learning about her abilities and growing in that regard. She's doing the work there, but that's something that interests her. If she's going to grow into an effective leader for her people, she's going to have to learn to deal with problems that she doesn't find interesting, to work through things that she finds boring, like this math class. And she has proven that she is not only capable of doing so, but also willing to do so, if only in situations where she doesn't have another choice. There was a lot of absurdity in this episode, a lot of that old Season 1 absurdity. The math problem on her board, for example, is ridiculously complex, especially for her grade level. And somehow creating the time loop combined with the fact that she's the only version of herself who didn't solve the problem, or I guess try and fail to solve the problem, somehow caused her various timelines to collide and started to destroy. I don't know, was it just space-time itself or just her little corner of space-time? It's never really made clear, but it was absolutely absurd, absolutely ridiculous. And it reminded me in a lot of ways of a Season 1 episode, where something ridiculous and over-the-top would happen, and it would be dealt with in a ridiculous and over-the-top kind of way. Though this, I think, is what Season 1 could have been and should have been. The everyday slice-of-life kind of stuff that she goes through, contributing to her overall characterization and the world building for this universe. And yeah, we got a little bit of that here and there back in Season 1, but this episode is proof positive that that concept, if done right, even has a place in the midst of episodes in Season 2. Hence, Season 1 could have been as good as Season 2, if things had been handled just a little bit differently. Which makes me think that maybe in a parallel universe, Season 1 is as good as Season 2. It's an interesting thing to think about. I also want to congratulate this episode for actually giving us a math-solving sequence that looked kind of epic. I genuinely never thought I'd see something like that. Kudos. Overall, this episode was a good look at Omnitrax's Prime and what he's all about. It was a fun, absurdist episode of the show with some genuinely funny moments, but it wasn't much else. It was about the average kind of episode that I would expect from this show at this point in time. Maybe just a tad below average. But I still very much enjoyed watching it. As per usual though, I'd like to know what do you guys think of this episode if you have seen it. Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below or over on my Discord server. Link in the description. Either way though, this has been AJ22 and I will talk to you guys later.